Thank you so much for your company this morning. Grateful to have you here. We are coming to you from our studios in Kokomlemle. We are live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Occupy Ghana is demanding Parliament to pass a law to regulate the involvement of military in matters concerning the interior. This follows the shooting to death of 2 persons during the Ejura youth protest yesterday. Now, there's more in the following statement I'm about to read to you. Occupy Ghana condemns in no uncertain terms the incidents of violence perpetrated against Ghanaians in Ejura in the Ashanti region by the military, urged on by the police. These citizens were demonstrating against the murder of Ibrahim Mohammed, a social media activist who had been insisting that the country needed to be fixed. It is painfully ironic that the police, who apparently do not have answers as yet for the circumstances under which the activist was killed, could then line up with the military to engage in the maiming and killing demonstrating citizens in Ejura in marksman style, as videos and photos of the incidents suggest. The statement continues to say, our history is replete with several instances of the deployment of the military and deadly force to quell protests, and they have almost always ended in the shooting and killing of civilians. One would have thought that after the 28th February 1948 Crossroads shooting incident, the use of deadly force to control crowds would be the last thing that any government of an independent Ghana would authorize or tolerate. We reject the notion that the only way that authorities know of to de-escalate tension is the deployment of the military, and that the military's only knowledge about such matters is the use of deadly force. The contrast in our recent history are sharp and real. The deployment of the military and deadly force led to the Kumipreko killings and Techiman South killings. To the best of our knowledge, no one was punished for those killings. In contrast, the non-deployment of the military during the Occupy Flagstaff House demonstration meant that although the police wrongfully arrested some protesters, no one was shot or maimed. We clearly have learned no lessons from these, hence that national embarrassment on live TV when the military was called in on our parliament, however rowdy the election process of the speaker was, literally at the dawn of this stage of the Fourth Republic. We have learned no lessons. Apologies for that. Said soldiers are built and trained for war. The presence of the military in any civil event could turn that location into a potential war zone where one side has all the firepower purchased for them by the citizens at the receiving end of the force. This is why it is the civil police that should lead out in all matters involving the interior. That is why we condemn the militarization of keeping the peace of Ghana. It must end forthwith. The last citizen-funded bullet fired on citizens should be the last ever. The statement goes on to demand that Parliament should pass a law since the executive have failed to take the lead in this matter. Let me take you to Ejura, where Erastus Asare Donko is still at for the very latest on this particular incident. Hello, Erastus. Let's start off with those who we are told were severely injured during the protest. How are they faring today?
Okay, so 4 people were on admission at the Ejura Government Hospital where we are standing at the moment. I would like to get the medical superintendent himself, Dr. Mensa Manye, to speak to us about their condition at the moment. Good morning, Doc, and welcome to News Desk on JoyNews.
Fine morning.
Well, tell us, what is the status of those who were injured and on admission at the moment?
Generally, they are all stable. I think yesterday I had to even discharge 2 of them because of their stability. Or the degree of injury was not so much severe, so I discharged 2 of them. The other 2, theirs were serious. Yesterday, after the incident, I then went back to explore or to actually reassess the extent of injury. I realized the 90-year-old boy the injury he had at the back of the waist, opening in front of the abdomen, was bleeding profusely, so I suspected an internal organ injury. So quickly, what I did was, that's why he was stable, talking to us, I deemed it necessary to refer to Kofanochi for further investigation and management. Not that it posed some threat of maybe, losing his life, but I deem it necessary to explore. CT scan could be to be done there. We are limited. We could only do the X-ray, which we have done already. So I refer for further investigation and management. But I communicated that he's also very stable, responding to treatment.
So currently you have one person on admission and you intend to refer that one as well to Kofanochi Teaching Hospital. Is that correct?
Correct. That person had multiple fractures around the femur. So that's the right femur, that's the right thigh bone, which is very serious. Such a fracture requires an orthopedic surgeon to manage. We have limitation, or we have our threshold. Where it got to, I need to refer it to Kofanochi for further investigation and management. They will also do their necessary operation there. So that's where we are now. However, a quick one. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank you people for the nice interaction and your coverage. But I want to really re-emphasize and defute the allegation of money collection in the hospital. There was no one paid a peswa. Even as of the treatment we have given, the infusion, the injection, no one paid a peswa. There was no peswa collected by the hospital from the injured victims or from the relatives. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Mensah Manye is the medical superintendent for the Ejura Government Hospital. Now, if you're seeing the small crowd here, they were brought in or accompanied by the chief of Ejura, who has just visited the people who are on admission at the moment. I do have his Nifahine here with us still. I will speak with him briefly on what the visit was about and the assurance of the chiefs of continued peace in Ejura. Good morning, sir. Your name, sir?
Good morning. I'm Nana Osei Kwaju Ansebie, the Nifahine of Ejura.
We've seen the chief of Ejura here this morning. What's the purpose of the visit?
He came in to visit the injured, those who are hospitalized, and also interact with the hospital management on the way so far, and then also those who have been referred to Kumasi, how they are faring.
How does Nananum feel about what has been happening from 3 days ago coming to today?
Sad, very sad, and very unfortunate, because for people to spill their blood on the land is nothing so cheap. And Nanano, in particular, Burma Osehidie, it so happened that everything occurred whilst he was in town. And we are really sad and determined that whatever caused it will be unearthed, and the appropriate action will be taken, and also pray that it doesn't happen again.
And Nananum interested in demanding justice, I mean, on the part of the military men, if any, on how they handled the situation?
Now, what has happened is an operation they conducted. What I know is that any operation or exercise of this nature, at the end of the day, they submit their report to the authorities that be, the military to the military, the police to the police. What I know is that in the report, if the authorities have any reason at all to believe that somebody went out of the professional instructions or somebody was unprofessional in his activities, the appropriate sanctions will be taken against him. Nananom and Burma has assured that he will follow up, whether it is the military, whether it is the police, whether it is whatever. But then we do not want to, as it were, create the impression that it's the military who have gone out on a shooting spree, killing people or destroying or attacking people. We want to disabuse the public's mind on it.
But how does Nananom feel about what happened? Do they think that there were excesses? They went beyond what you were expecting to happen on the streets?
Now we cannot pass judgment on as to whether they went excesses or not, because we were not with them in at the time of the incident. And like I said, the military normally will not go out of its way to start shooting. But I believe this is not the time to apportion blame. Whether they were right, whether they are wrong, the appropriate authorities will take action. I want to believe that the whole incident will be investigated. But for now, what we want, that we should have peace. Because if there's no calm, if there's no peace, people cannot go about their duties. And then the police even cannot do any investigations in the heat of the crisis.
So before you go, currently we are seeing relatively calm on the streets of Ejura. What is the role of Nananom at the moment in ensuring that it stays this way?
We're continuing with what Burma Ejura started with the elders. That is speaking with the appropriate people, the youth, the leadership, the chief imam, the Zongo chief, and nobody at all who can help to restore peace. That is what we are doing. So we have a lot of interaction. For instance, I just met with the census team to encourage them to continue with their duties and that the situation is calm. The security agencies, they are in town, and nobody is confronting them, no riot with them, no confrontation with them. So we believe that the appeals that have been coming from our chief and then other opinion leaders, people will adhere to that one, and things will continue to be calm.
We are grateful for your time, Nana. And that's the Nifahene of Ejura. He followed the chief of Ejura to, come and see the people who are on admission here at the hospital. He has also donated 5,000 Ghana cedis each to the people who are injured to take care of some of their medical expenses. And he promised to see those who are bereaved as well, to talk it over and find some sort of support for them as well. So on the streets of Ejura at the moment, we have the military, we have the police patrolling the streets with their men. And I must say that it's relatively very calm on the streets with people going about their normal duties. Benis.
So just a quick update on the two who lost their lives yesterday and a bit more information on who they really are.
Well, Muntala Mohammed is 26, and he is a farmer, and he cultivates various crops for sale on the market. We also have Nasir Yusuf. Also, he is 25. He is also a farmer, and he also grows crops for sale on the open market. And so both are youth, and their main occupation is farming. And in fact, there are people who are known within the community as very calm, respectable. And of course, Nasir Yusuf was the one who volunteered to support our news team and protect our activities whilst we're here covering the demonstration yesterday. And it tells you about the decision he took as a noble one before he died through that same protest. And I must say that if he has not volunteered to be engaging and guarding us, perhaps he would have been alive as we speak. Benis.
Erastus, and so we've been speaking to family of these two persons, and they've been demanding justice. But beyond that, tell us generally how this has affected activities, daily activities in the Ejura community.
Well, if you know Ejura very well, it's a very booming, full of activity, a town that is so full of activity, very brisk business. In the course of the day, people getting produce from farms, bringing them to the market and selling them. You know, that brisk activity in town is not being witnessed today. You are rather seeing a very calm, gloomy town with people minding their own business, people gathering here to commiserate with families who have lost loved ones. We went to the two families. They have been meeting and been some shedding tears, some, talking about and picking up the pieces from where they left yesterday. And so I must say it's a sad mourning day for the people of Ejura. All the people united in mourning, I must say, disturbed about the activities that have occurred for the past 3 days. And so it's not an easy task for people here today, going about their normal duties with care and caution, and also regretting what happened in the past 3 days.
Finally, Erastus, you've mentioned about how this incident has affected economic activities, but are children going to school, for example?
Yes, children are going to school. In the morning when we came in here around 6 a.m., we saw children moving to and fro. We've seen people, apprentices to the various shops, also going about their normal duties. If you move around the town, you could see some people displaying their wares. This is a town noted for the sale of yam and other foodstuffs. So you could see all of them lined up doing their business. But the brisk nature and the way you find Ejura as on a normal day, that I think has been affected by some gloom and doom, and that you can see on the faces of the people. But aside that, things are going on. People are selling. Those who are selling food are doing their normal business. The pragya and the motorcycles are moving to and fro, discharging their normal duty. So I must say it's back to normalcy here at Ejura.
Right, Erastus Asare-Donkor, the reporting from the Ejura community, which has been in the news since the weekend. And we are being told now that the police and military are patrolling the streets. We'll keep our eyes on this particular story because there's still investigations into what led to the firing of guns, which eventually led to the killing of 2 people in that protest yesterday.